Convicted former KCPD Detective Eric DeFalconer might avoid going to prison following his sentencing set for March 4th.
The Jackson County judge who convicted him in November granted DeFalconer's request to remain free while he appeals that conviction. Fox 4's Jacob Kittelstadt live from the Jackson County Courthouse tonight, where sentencing will occur in less than 2 weeks. Jacob DeFalconer could face more than 4 years in prison for the charges.
Well, that is right. A judge found him guilty of second-degree involuntary manslaughter and armed criminal action going back to the death of Cameron Lamb in December of 2019. Since he was charged in those crimes, he's been out on a $30,000 bond.
The court finds the defendant guilty.
The bench trial for Eric DeFalconer concluded in November, with sentencing scheduled 4 months out. With that moment approaching, DeFalconer's attorneys argued they're appealing and that DeFalconer is not a flight risk. Judge Dale Youngs didn't allow recordings of today's hearings, but Fox 4 Working for You was in attendance. DeFalconer's attorney argued that if the appeal is unsuccessful, Eric will still have to serve his sentence. It may not be on March 4th. It may not be under the presence of scrutiny and media attention and applauding members of the victim's family. But if the verdict is upheld, they will still get their time. She also said, the danger that he faces if incarcerated is different than that of any other defendant that has been in front of you. And that's for obvious reasons. Judge Youngs responded with rules from the Missouri Supreme Court saying it does not talk about the safety of the defendant as being a factor in terms of whether or not to allow a defendant to be conditionally released. At the same time, prosecutors argued this kind of release should not be necessarily granted as a matter of course. But Judge Youngs said the main considerations are risks to the community and the chance he'd run before punishment, saying he's known that since last November, and yet here he is. So if there was a flight risk, I don't know if I would have waited if I was Mr. DeFalconer to fly to Panama. I think I would have done it in November, whatever the date was when I rendered the verdict in the case.
Cameron Lamb's family not commenting today, and that is another interesting part of this appeal is since it was a bench trial decided by a judge and not a jury, it may be more difficult for an appeals court to overturn that verdict. At least that's the argument that was being made by prosecutors today, an unsuccessful argument as we look ahead to sentencing here on March 4th. Christelle and John.